Right now, Good Morning America First Look, major developments in the Charlie Kirk shooting investigation, the message the suspect allegedly sent, and what we're learning about the first person taken into custody after the shooting. Also, why law enforcement officials are comparing this case to the case of Luigi Mangione, the alleged healthcare CEO shooter, prompting a new threat assessment from counterterrorism experts.
President Trump announcing a new U.S. attack on a Venezuelan boat allegedly carrying drugs. The second deadly attack just this month. The questions being raised, plus Trump makes it official, sending the National Guard into another major U.S. city to fight crime.
A major health headline, the new poll showing how many parents are now skipping standard vaccinations for their children.
An ABC News exclusive. Cosby Show star Malcolm Jamal Warner's grieving mother breaking her silence. What she's saying about her son's tragic death on the beach.
Jewelry, cash, and weapons seized. What authorities are revealing about the alleged ringleader of a robbery spree targeting celebrities and why he was back on the street.
Later, what you should know about fall foliage season this year before you plan your trip.
And the story of one lost cat missing for more than 2 years. The surprising way he's suddenly been reunited with his family.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Perry Russell.
Good morning. I'm Morgan Norwood. Good to be with you. We begin with several new developments in the Charlie Kirk shooting investigation.
As we learn more about the suspect, we are also learning more about the dark corners of the internet, where experts say more and more young men are being radicalized. Meanwhile, more vigils and tributes are being held to honor Kirk's legacy. This one at Arizona State last night. Another was held in Washington. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
Moment of silence, please.
A vigil at the U.S. Capitol last night honored conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Among the speakers, Congressman Steve Scalise, who was shot at a congressional baseball practice in 2017.
It can never be accepted as the norm in this great country. It goes against everything that our country was founded upon.
New details are emerging about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. The messaging platform Discord confirms shortly before he was taken into custody, an account belonging to Robinson claimed responsibility for the shooting with the message, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." FBI Director Kash Patel says Robinson has admitted to the killing.
A text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that. And when he was asked why, he said some hatred cannot be negotiated with.
Patel says officials have seized multiple devices from the suspect's home where he lived with his romantic partner, and says DNA on a screwdriver and towel found at the crime scene are a match. We're also now learning the first person taken into custody after the shooting was allegedly trying to help Robinson escape. An affidavit revealing 71-year-old George Zinn claimed he was the one who shot Kirk, but officials say Zinn later admitted saying that to draw attention away from the real shooter. President Trump blames left-wing radicals and says Robinson was radicalized online.
It seems like he has wonderful parents, brought in a wonderful neighborhood, smart guy, great boards, great marks, great student. And then something happened to him over a fairly short period of time.
The New York Police Department is now warning of an increasingly volatile threat environment, saying the killing of Charlie Kirk and last year's killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson stem from the same toxic and violent atmosphere. The NYPD warning, rather than aligning with a single extremist ideology, malicious actors may adopt a personalized, hate-filled worldview drawn from a mix of beliefs, amplifying the risk of future attacks by lone offenders.
The political violence, targeted attacks, mass shootings that are plaguing the United States and have been for over a decade are in large part fueled by an online ecosystem that's saturated with violent and other content that's purposely placed there by foreign powers, terrorist groups, violent organizations here for the purposes of inspiring and informing future attacks.
Another alleged example, last week's school shooting in Colorado. The Anti-Defamation League says the 16-year-old who shot 2 students had an account on a website devoted to portraying graphic violence, including killings. The Anti-Defamation League says it alerted the FBI months ago about the account, but the FBI tells our Denver station agents were unable to confirm the identity behind the account and no action was taken. In the case of Charlie Kirk's shooting, shooting. Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked whether social media companies bear responsibility for the suspect's alleged radicalization. Her answer focused on the responsibility of parents.
Parents have got to monitor that because this starts when you're young. This starts when you're young, when you listen to these groups, when you watch these shows, and parents have got to just be vigilant.
Charges could be filed against Tyler Robinson as soon as today. Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO shooting, is also due in court today. Morgan, Perry.
Lionel, thank you. Now to the rising tensions with Venezuela. American forces targeting a second boat allegedly packed with drugs headed to the U.S. President Trump says at least 3 people were killed, and he's warning drug smugglers that the U.S. is hunting them. These strikes appear to be an unprecedented use of lethal military force against a criminal enterprise. Earlier this month, a U.S. attack on a speedboat killed 11 alleged gang members from Venezuela. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is dismissing reports that the boat had turned around before that first strike.
What needs to start happening is some of these boats need to get blown up. Some of these boats need to be not just intercepted, but stopped, no matter what direction they plan to head.
Venezuela's president condemned what he calls U.S. aggression.
Here at home, a major development in President Trump's crackdown on crime. Trump now officially sending troops into another major city. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Good morning.
Morgan, good morning. President Trump is sending National Guard troops and federal agents into Memphis, the White House vowing to replicate what's been done here in Washington. And the president says other cities could be next. This morning, the green light has been given for the National Guard and other federal law enforcement to be sent to Memphis, Tennessee.
We're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore. We're going to take care of all of them, step by step, just like we did in D.C.
President Trump late yesterday establishing a task force in Memphis to crack down on crime, similar to actions recently taken in the nation's capital.
The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals, and more.
The move welcomed by Tennessee's Republican governor.
I'm tired of crime holding the great city of Memphis back.
But Democratic city leaders in Memphis calling the move unnecessary.
I'm certainly not happy about the National Guard. I am looking forward to trying to find ways to invest in the things that we're already doing to address crime in our city.
We shouldn't have to walk out the door feeling like we're in a militarized zone. That's right. This is not the Gaza Strip.
FBI figures show Memphis ranks first in the country in the rate of violent crime, but local officials report making progress, claiming historic reductions, saying the murder rate is at a 6-year low. Trump insists the city is overrun with crime and is vowing to take similar action in other cities run by Democrats.
We're going to be doing Chicago probably next.
In Massachusetts, a federal case that underscores the administration's message. FBI agents in armored vehicles smashing through the windows of this home outside Boston, tossing in smoke devices and moving in to arrest an alleged gang member. Prosecutors say he's linked to drug trafficking, home invasions, and a high-speed chase during which officers were fired upon. And as for the situation in Chicago, Illinois' governor is threatening legal action if the National Guard is sent in without the state's consent. Perry.
Nicole D'Antonio live in Washington. Nicole, thank you. An appeals court has rejected President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. That means Cook is expected to take part in today's Fed meeting on whether to cut interest rates. 2 Biden appointees on the court found Cook's due process rights were violated because she did not have a chance to respond to allegations of mortgage fraud. Meanwhile, former federal prosecutor Maureen Comey is suing the Justice Department to get her job back. She is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey. She worked on criminal cases against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Comey was fired in July, she claims, without explanation.
Actor Malcolm Jamal Warner's grieving mother is speaking out this morning about her son's tragic death this summer. Pamela Warner tells our Robin Roberts Malcolm was not an experienced swimmer and could not survive the rip current that led to his drowning in Costa Rica.
I heard you say when you were first told, you let out a scream that people from the end of the cul-de-sac came running.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was from the bottom of my soul, and what came up and what came out was huge. It was an undescribable pain that resonated throughout my body.
So incredibly heartbreaking. Later on Good Morning America, she discusses how Malcolm's wife and daughter are holding up.
Time now for your Tuesday weather.
Good morning. Nice and quiet in the west, although it's dry. There's a fire weather watch in the Cascades. Could have some strong storms in the plains. That's on the western edge of a summery air mass that has Minneapolis near 90 today. Decent in the northeast, some clouds increasing in New York. On the northern fringe of this coastal low, be some heavy rain, even some flooding and gusty winds, parts of the Carolinas into Virginia. That's not tropical, but we are watching the tropics. This has a strong chance of development over the next 7 days. Thankfully, likely to be a fish storm. Could get close to Bermuda. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, how many parents are now skipping standard vaccinations for their children?
Also ahead, the young suspects accused of trashing this elementary school, causing, get this, $50,000 in damage, how they were caught.
And later, the celebrity chef charged with robbing 3 banks in one day. Back now with a case of wrong place, wrong time. That soda truck falling into a sinkhole in Mexico City. The driver got out just in time and nobody was hurt. A wild scene on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Police say a tire flew off a truck and crashed through this Range Rover, seriously injuring 2 people. The truck was traveling in the opposite direction.
We turn now to the state of child vaccinations in America. New figures show parents these days are increasingly skeptical.
A new poll reveals just how many parents are now choosing not to vaccinate their children. The Washington Post finding 1 in 6 parents have either delayed or skipped some of the standard vaccines for their kids. The survey finding 9% of parents now say they've opted out of the MMR vaccine, which protects against the measles, mumps, and rubella.
That creates these unfortunate gaps in immunization coverage, which we know can leave kids vulnerable and possibly cause an outbreak if we don't have that protection.
A recent poll found certain vaccination rates of kindergartners dropping in the years since the pandemic, falling below the level experts typically recommend to protect communities from disease transmission. The country this year experienced its worst measles outbreak in more than 30 years, resulting in 3 deaths. Parents who skipped the vaccine cited concerns about side effects, a lack of trust in safety, and a belief that not all recommended vaccines are necessary.
We see that misinformation is still an issue. And this shows us that we still need to do some education when it comes to the schedule and why kids are getting the shots that they are when they are.
The data shows while most parents view childhood vaccines as safe and important, they're less confident in the flu and COVID shots. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. continues to question the safety of some vaccines. Just yesterday, he appointed 5 new members to the CDC's advisory committee, a panel responsible for making vaccine recommendations. Some of the new members have previously been skeptical of vaccines.
And that panel meets this week to discuss vaccines for COVID and other diseases.
Police in Florida, some with guns drawn, got a first-hand look at about $50,000 worth of damage done by vandals at this elementary school. After the suspects' pictures were posted online, 2 boys ages 12 and 13 were turned in by their own mothers and were arrested. They face several charges, including burglary.
Wild story there. We're coming up. What's expected to be different about fall foliage this year?
But first, jewelry, stacks of cash, and weapons. What we're learning about the suspect in a robbery spree targeting celebrities.
A well-known chef in the San Francisco area is under arrest, accused of robbing 3 banks in one day. Police say Valentino Lucan entered the banks last Wednesday, passed a note demanding money, then fled with the cash. He was previously sentenced to a year behind bars for robbing a bank in 2018, later saying he was desperate for money after his former restaurants shut down.
We now turn to the suspected ringleader of a home invasion spree targeting everybody from Grammy-winning musicians to Super Bowl champions.
Count 9, robbery in the first degree.
This morning, the man accused of targeting celebrities and pro athletes in a string of burglaries and robberies is behind bars in Seattle, pleading not guilty to 10 felony counts. Police showing us the extensive amount of jewelry, stacks of cash, and weapons they say were seized in the investigation. One alleged target, the rapper Macklemore.
I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket.
Police say the suspect, 29-year-old Patrick Masonette, and another man broke into Macklemore's home in June and pepper sprayed a nanny. Months earlier, police say Masonette was one of 3 men who robbed Super Bowl champion Richard Sherman's family at gunpoint. Sherman posting this video of the suspects fleeing. Masonette is also accused of targeting these 3 current and former baseball stars. He was quiet in court yesterday, in stark contrast to his recent arraignment.
Don't forget to tell I'm for the 50s.
Authorities say despite a long and violent criminal history, a judge allowed Masonette to walk free on bail with an ankle monitor after he was charged with a home invasion in 2023. They say he cut off that ankle monitor before becoming the ringleader of this recent crime spree. The judge, when asked to defend his bail decision in that prior case, said,
"Well, I think there's always the hope that people have the capacity to change their behavior. And this was a young person."
This time, Masonette is being held on $2 million bond. The FBI has warned sports leagues about criminal groups targeting athletes. 7 people were charged this year for burglaries at the homes of Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and others.
Well, coming up, some drama on Monday Night Football.
Plus, there is some proof that the Labubu craze may be already over.
Back now, and it's time to check the pulse and we'll begin with a double dip of Monday Night Football.
Very late drama between the Bucs and Texans. Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield leading an 80-yard game-winning drive, and Tampa Bay scoring with just 6 seconds left to win the game 20-19.
And in the late game, Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert threw 2 touchdowns against the Raiders, and the Chargers defense had 3 interceptions in a 29 win. All right, well, next, a new prediction about fall foliage this season.
Forecasters say increasing drought conditions in the Northeast will lead to a shorter and less vibrant foliage season, and severe drought for much of the Rockies has some colors already emerging. Peak colors there expected to be earlier and more muted.
But things are looking typical this season for foliage in the Midwest and the Southeast. Well, next, the frenzy over Labubu dolls is fading and wiping away a big chunk of the toy maker's massive profit.
Yeah, the Chinese company behind the designer plushies lost nearly $13 billion in value since peaking last month. That's a lot of money. The owner taking a $6 billion hit.
In case you haven't seen them, Labubus have been embraced by celebrities like Naomi Osaka, took a slide after a major bank downgraded the company, and observers say once celebrities start endorsing a product, Gen Z tends to kind of move on.
And we find them scary. Next, an unusual coalition coming together to protest the rocket company owned by Elon Musk.
Yes, SpaceX wants to launch its Starship from the Kennedy Space Center up to 44 times per year. Among those protesting the plan are nudists and surfers. Yes, you heard that right. They are protesting the possible beach closures that would result in that area.
Have you noticed we didn't have any video of the
we don't have any video. Good call there, guys. And finally, a beloved pet cat is back home with his family more than 2 years after he went missing.
He has a name. It's Spencer the cat. Just happened to stroll into a Virginia animal shelter. The staff scanned his microchip and arranged a happy reunion with his much relieved family. They had looked everywhere for Spencer's whereabouts since the summer of 2023. Remained a mystery. Where was Spencer?
Well, I love these types of stories that had a happy ending here. Top headlines up next. We're back now and checking more top stories. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is expected to be charged today. Tyler Robinson allegedly tracked Kirk's public appearances. FBI Director Kash Patel says Robinson admitted to the murder in a message online. Patel will face questions today on Capitol Hill.
Israel's defense minister says Gaza City is burning after a night of intense strikes. Meanwhile, the UN investigation claims Israel has committed genocide against the Palestinians.
President Trump has filed a $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times, claiming the paper has defamed him and has told lies about him for decades. No response yet from the Times.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the U.S. and China have reached the framework of a deal on the future of TikTok. He says it will be completed Friday when President Trump speaks with China's leader.
Today's weather: rain from the northern Rockies into the plains, and heavy rain could bring flooding to the mid-Atlantic coast.
And finally, father and daughter.
They're Scottish, they're very popular, and they spoke to our Danny New.
Hello, my lovelies. How are you all today? Say hi, Jimmy boy.
Hi, Jimmy boy.
A father and daughter in Scotland, charming hearts around the world with their daily routines.
We've sort of always had a close bond, eh?
Yeah.
11-year-old Carly and her father, Ryan, have picked up millions of views as they, for example, make dinner together.
Crispy onions on his baked potato.
Also their bedtime ritual, where Dad brushes Carly's hair to the best of his ability.
Say, like, Mum's done my hair now. Dad hasn't done it. Apologies about my hair, by the way.
You look like you've been dragged through a bush.
Well, no matter who does her hair, their many followers don't seem to mind. One commenter writing, I understand 30% of what they're saying, but I love it.
We try to slow our speaking down a wee bit to help people understand us a little bit better.
Nah, I say just do it your way.
Hi, my lovelies.
For the record, Carly's catchphrases like "Hello, my lovelies" and "Jimmy Boy" first started when she began making her own little sketch videos in the 2020 lockdown. As you may have noticed, her dad's name is Ryan, not Jimmy Boy. But that just kind of came organically one day from this character.
You look all so grown up.
But as you can tell from this clip of Ryan laughing through tears when seeing Carly dressed up for her school dance, they are not always being silly. This moment even got the attention of Khloe Kardashian, who commented, "What an incredible relationship."
Say hi, Jimmy Boy.
Hi, Jimmy Boy.
And even though Carly said sometimes it can be confusing to be recognized on the street or at school, here is why she enjoys making these videos with her father.
My dad's my best friend, and that's why, we can make someone's day happy. That makes me happy.
We did talk about what Carly wants to be when she grows up, and she said an actor or a TV presenter, guys, and I think she's ready to do both those things. Am I right, Jimmy Boy?
Totally.
I think she's well on her way.
That's your first look.
Have a great Tuesday.